Hello, welcome this week to Together We Feel. Yes, it's Wednesday, not Monday. I know I was on a little birthday trip with my husband, so we moved it this week to Wednesday. But we are here, we are live, and we are talking about the navigating the expectations of womanhood today on Together We Feel. I'm your host, Melissa Crook. I've got some familiar faces with me here today and some new faces here with me today. We are truly a global panel today. I think we've got the US, we've got Canada, we've got Malta, we've got Belgrade, Serbia. So yeah, we are all over covering it all. And I love this because this topic of navigating the expectations of womanhood is nuanced and full and has so many layers to it. And each woman has their own experience based on so many factors that go into play. And I was talking to the panel before we got on, your socioeconomic status, where you grew up, what your family's system was like, if you were in a faith-based system or not. There's just those general societal norms. There's also ethnicity and race. There's so many spaces and pieces that go into that surface layer of being a woman, and then all of your experiences within that play a part. And it's complex and complicated. We carry the weight of so many expectations from all these other spaces, and no one stops to ask us when we're very young, and really even when we grow up, what we want. They might here and there, but for the most part, by the time we get into middle school, we have been already, which is, middle school, junior high, 12 to 14 years old, we've gotten a full array already of what the world expects from us as a girl and as a woman. And so we're left to unpack that while navigating growing up. And then at some point, for me, I just got to a point, I literally hit a wall from carrying the weight of all of these expectations that I'd been hearing since I was, 4 years old is my first memory of really making a shift from being that free, untethered little girl to moving into acting the way that was appropriate for me. Be nice. Don't be rude. Don't be, calm, quiet down. Don't speak when you're not spoken to. I mean, all these little messages I started getting about what was my responsibility. And then we carry that into womanhood. And so we're going to talk about navigating this today. We're going to hear from each of our panelists on their experience navigating it, and all of their work and background feeds really directly into this. And so we're going to really cover the full gamut. We have women that are moms. We have women that are not moms. We have women that are married. We have women that are not married. And that whole navigation of what's expected of us as a woman, whether we decide to be a mom or not, whether we decide to be partnered or not, we have to unpack what that means for us and not carrying the burden of that expectation. I raised 3 daughters. And I didn't do a lot of things right. But the one thing I was very clear with them on is that you do not have to have children. You do not have to marry. That is a choice. You're going to hear differently from the world, but I'm here to tell you right now, your value as a human, as a girl, as a woman does not ever flow based on whether you decide to do that or not. Don't ever believe the lie that it does. If you learn nothing else from me, I want you to know that. So that's just one example of the weight that we carry, how we dress, and whether we're, and the response, instead of just men being told to be responsible and kind and considerate and respectful, the weight is put on the girl and the woman. Well, you shouldn't have dressed so provocatively. How about the man not be a jerk? How about his parents tell that little boy to be respectful and kind, and that person is also a human too? I mean, I could go on forever. My work and wanting to talk about these topics and take down these stigmas that we have been fed is really squarely founded on, I want women to have these conversations. I want us to feel free. I want us to feel safe. But that requires us coming together listening to each other's stories, and supporting each other in this. We're not going to move needles and narratives by doing this solo, by doing this alone, by treating each other as the competition rather than treating each other as teammates and someone that we can learn something from and someone that we can support in this. So this is going to be a big part of our conversation. I want to thank all of my panelists here. I've got a good group here today. I've got Erin Copeland, Pamela Michaud, Rachel Lavin, Jess Van Rose, and Jasna Kaludrovic joining us from around the world. Erin, I'm going to start with you. Talk to me about this topic and what it means to you.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Ladies, hello, everybody out there. The thing that has hit me so profoundly, especially when you really made note that this is a global panel today, is that this is a global issue. It's not something that is confined just to the United States, just to California, just to Florida. We are all here from around the world to talk about this. So I just want everyone to pause and make note of that it is something that transcends culture.
Yeah.
We're all here. The impact this has had on me and what brought me here today is that I'm a caregiving support specialist. And I was not a little girl at 4 years old or in kindergarten when they said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I want to be a caregiver. wasn't what I said. And I don't think any caregiver says that. And the weight of the expectation that has been put upon me as a woman, as a wife, as a daughter, that just the assumptions that I will just handle it has been profound. And it hasn't been 15 years I've been in a caregiving role. And it hasn't been until recently where I've stepped back and said to some people when they said, what are you doing to handle this? I said, maybe I don't want to be the person. Maybe I don't want to. And what if I don't want to?
Yeah.
And so then it's that additional layer, as you were talking about, just as humans, if you are a woman and you choose not to be a mother or a wife, that doesn't determine your value. And I think women are also expected to be a caregiver. And if we don't want to, that's okay. And that does not diminish our value.
Yes. I think that's so important because to give Erin a little background, Erin's been at this a long time. She was unexpectedly thrust into it when her husband was diagnosed with cancer when she was in her late 30s. And then she moved right out of that cycle into grandparents and parents aging. And people around her and her family are like, oh, Erin knows what to do. Erin will take care of it. And instead of being like, okay, Erin's been doing this for a long time. She might be wore out right now. Maybe we should see if we can offset some of this support and maybe support, but because she did it and did it so well. See, that's the thing. We don't only do things, we do them really well. And sometimes to our detriment, because then everybody just wants us to do it. So I wanted to give that background on Erin because there's a lot of layers that are going on here. She's navigated all of these different spaces with multiple family members, and also her herself having to release some control because she did know how to do it. She had to give herself permission to be like, I don't have to be the only one. I can offset and ask other people for help and just say, I'm spent. I need to step back here and let some other people step forward, and that's okay. But we feel so much guilt about that. We have such a, we carry this badge of honor with all of these things. So, all right, Pamela, joining us from Malta. Pamela's new to us. Welcome to Together We Feel. I'm so happy to have you here today. Share with me why this topic is so important to you.
For me, this topic is important because from a very young age, I had to take the role of a caregiver for my younger siblings. In a way, it wasn't asked, it was expected. Because being the oldest, you have to also understand some people have different culture. So being half African, it's expected that the oldest is more responsible. And in many other culture, it's like that. So the thing is, when you're put in front of responsibilities at a very young age, you continue doing them even when people don't ask.
Yeah.
And very often we get a burnout because we don't know how to say no. And that's the basic. You have to put boundaries. And that's why it's very important for me to be here today, because we speak about women, but we women, we carry the children. It's also our responsibility to teach our sons to be able to help their wives, their girlfriends. So it's all good and well to say we are burnt out, but it's also our responsibility to push the responsibility towards, and not only keep doing things like it used to be before, where the woman had the luxury to stay at home. Now that's finished. So for me, it's very important to be here because we have a responsibility towards ourselves, but also towards people around us. And it starts with the first no and the first boundaries that you set. So like this, you can teach others to do it. It's a ripple effect in a way, or a snowing ball, how you want to call it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's such a, you said a couple of things. I'm an oldest too. And so just to prove the multicultural urban, so is Aaron, there is something across, we're seeing it across cultures here on this panel, something about being an oldest daughter. It's like you're born with an expectation. There's, oh, she's the oldest. She'll watch after the younger kids. She'll take care of that. She'll manage this. I think that's so interesting you brought that up, because there's multiples of us. And then you bring in that cultural narrative, those cultural expectations. I work with so many young girls, college age girls, that grew up with a lot of different cultural expectations. I live in an area where there's a lot of people from all over the world here. We have people from many Hispanic nations and Latin American nations. We have many people from India, and we have many people from Armenia. There's Italian, many, and all those family cultures and expectations feed into what they've seen their mothers and grandmothers do. And when they ask to do something different, they can get a lot of pushback on that. They're like, oh, excuse me, wait a minute. The other thing I love that you said, Pam, I loved everything you said, but you talked about teaching our sons to be accountable, teaching our sons that there's not these gendered responsibilities, that it's your responsibility to be respectful and show up and not expect the women to do everything, and your children seeing you say no to things, I think is so powerful. You're setting such an important example, like, oh, mom set some boundaries here. She is not everyone's workhorse. She's going to take some time for herself, and we're going to step in and we're going to respect that. But because we can say all the words we want, but if we don't model it, they won't remember. So it's so important, that modeling piece too. So good. Thank you, Pam. I know people are going to have questions for each other. All right, Rachel, talk to me about why you saw this on multiple fronts. You saw this when you worked in the fitness industry, working with women, and all of the weight they carried about the societal expectations about their bodies and how they ate and how they moved and what they looked like, and all the load and weight that comes with that. And metaphorically, like, I'm not talking about physical weight, I'm talking about the mental, metaphorical. And now you've transitioned into adding this, helping primarily women get their spaces organized, and the weight that they carry of being the ones to do that, and the guilt and the shame that we carry. So talk to me about this, but also just your personal experience of being a woman. You're not a mom. You made that choice. You're partnered now, but you've had to we've all had to kind of navigate these different things that were expected of us. And so, yeah. So I don't want to tell you, I've just told your whole story.
Thank you, Melissa. I can just sit here and look pretty then. Honestly, every time I'm on one of these panels, I say this every time, but I hear something I need to hear. And I just love the fact that we are in a time where women can totally speak their mind. It's not, just if you watch anything that's like more than 10 years old, it's like, calm down, don't get hysterical. Like you're always like, they always perceived women as like, we're going crazy, right? Because we had an emotion. And I just think that it's such an important time for women because, ladies, we have a choice now. We have a choice how we respond. We have a choice how we react. We have a choice how we put ourselves out into the world. And I think it's so important to mention that women in our 40s, in our 50s, there's just like a I don't give an F kind of attitude that comes with aging. And we start to just like stop caring about, oh my God, they're talking about me. Oh, I'm not being invited. I mean, whatever those things that we feel and focus on in our early life, that just becomes so less important. And I've mentioned this before. It's like the world that opens up for you, for me, when I stop caring about those things or stop putting my energy there and put energy on me, my self-care, my experiences, the rest of the time I have left on this planet, like all those things matter after 40. And so I love to tell women who are still like shaming themselves and berating themselves and beating themselves up. And it's like, I know you probably don't believe me that it's this easy, but it's your choice. You have a choice to wake up tomorrow morning and decide that you're going to change your mindset. And for people who, and this, this is just a human thing. If you are in your story so hard that like nothing else can even be a possibility, to realize that you're doing that to yourself is so simple. And yet I understand it's very hard because you've been telling yourself the same story for so long. But I guess for any woman, I would say that you get to choose how you live the rest of your life, how you see yourself, how you see other humans. I'm not saying it's easy. It definitely takes practice. But for me personally, coming from a world of always just negativity, to wake up every morning and be like, today's going to be great. Good things keep happening to me. I'm grateful for whatever breath I get. So, but that took some time. It is possible though.
Yeah. Thank you for that. So good. All right, Jess, welcome. Tell me about why it's important for you to be here.
Oh, well, first, I have like so many comments. Like I have a page almost written full here. But the first thing I wanted to say is, Rachel, you said sitting like that you'd sit there pretty, like pretty, but not too pretty, right? Because you can't be too pretty. You have to be attractive, but you can't be sexual. Like, anyway, I'll save that.
Well, I'm glad you said. I mean, I actually have invited a couple of women who work with women as intimacy and sexual therapist coaches. They couldn't join us today, but that's another topic we run into. I'm so glad you hit on that because that's a whole other thing. Yeah.
I know. So last night I was talking to my mom. I'm at my mom's right now. And I was like, Mom, I have to prepare for this panel that I'm on tomorrow. I'm like, do you want to chat about the expectations of womanhood? You know what her response was? No. Want to talk about that. She's like, I am not going to perform for anybody. like, okay, yes, that's right.
Absolutely.
No, I wanted to be here today because like we are all so affected by this. And I mean, like everybody has said, it's a global issue. It doesn't matter where you live. It affects all of us. And I just think that it's so important that we have this conversation because there's like this invisible rule book that that we all have and that we're handed when we're children. We're just expected to know what's in there. And yeah, I mean, Melissa, like you had said, some of those things that you were saying when you were 4 years old, like I very much resonate with that. It was like growing up, it was be seen but not heard. You know, wait until you're spoken to. But I am single and I don't have children, and it's a whole other world. You know, I went speed dating last night, and as soon as I said that I run a media and wellness brand, you could just immediately see the intimidation, and I'm like, okay, like, you know, it's just, yeah, it's hard, like the expectations, because as a woman, you're more so expected that you can be at home, have kids, you know, make all the meals, clean the house.
Yeah. Well, and I think you said something so important, like, and if anybody knows me, they don't want me making all the meals. They definitely want my husband making all the meals. He's definitely much better at that than I am. So and it was one of those things. So I think it matters. It's, you know, what you said. I read an article, I think it was a blog on Substack earlier this week, that a woman wrote, and this kind of goes back to what Pamela says about teaching your children and teaching your sons. And the article title was, when we started teaching and telling women to empower themselves, we forgot to equip the men to know how to handle empowered women. Like we just assumed, like, okay, empower the women, but oh, by the way, men, this is going to be impact you too. This is what you should not expect anymore, and this is what you need to think about in the choices that you make and the responses you're going to get. I mean, it's so interesting to me, and you know, when I get all the time, and I keep the comments. I don't allow my panelists to see the comments, because the comments we get on live sometimes are pretty ridiculous, and I end up having to block a lot of the comments because of the names that I get called and we get called for talking about being a woman and being what it's like to be a woman, and somehow that's a problem. And we're just, you know, there's a lot of people. The patriarchy and misogyny are very real, and I don't think, and people don't fully understand how they've been impacted. So I just want to, you know, I mean, that's so many elements to it. All right.
Like, as far as dating, sorry, I was just going to add to that. Like, as far as dating, like if you have the audacity to reject a man, like, I mean, some guys take it okay, but there are others who they become like vicious, like not physically, but like, just verbally vicious with you. And it's like, wow, like the names that I have been called just because I'm, you know, not interested in somebody. Yeah.
Well, wow. That brings up so much. Okay, we're gonna get to yes, and then we're gonna, because that opens up, and I know I saw Pamela perk up, like, yes, I know about this too. And I've experienced, I mean, I think we probably all experienced in some way. Yasin, this segues nicely into you and what you were talking about before we got on, about navigating the workplace and when you're successful, and that also hearing people's comments. I mean, you've been through IVF. You spent a dedicated part of your life trying to get pregnant. It didn't end up happening, but the workplaces and the world don't accommodate women for these things. They just expect us to keep going and figuring it out. But talk to me about why being here today is important to you.
Because I felt through my life that being a woman is something very specific, and that environment has expectations. I didn't feel it in my childhood. I'm listening to you that you felt some expectations from you as a woman in future already as kids. I did really not feel that. I did feel that female role is somewhat special, because female characters in my family cooked, never men, but men did other things. So I always perceived that as something fair. You do this, we do that. We are different, but somehow equally different. And I did not feel that I should not speak, I should not work. I always felt that I should work, I should learn, I should be ambitious and everything. And this is how I was raised, and this is why
which is
I am.
wonderful.
But when you're grown up, many people consider that different from their expectations. And when you join the grown-up world, you go to relationships. I was married to my first love, so I did not feel that immediately because we were just matched somehow. And then until my 35th years old, I did not feel that men expect this or that from me. I did not have that subject in my life at all. But when I was divorced, I also was dating for 5 or 6 years, and I did feel this. That people, they just bring something different from their families, and they expect female role to be something much more limiting for me than I could maybe accept in my life. Because for me, that would be too much limiting. Yeah. And also at work, when you are single, when I was single, I did not feel at work that I am different than men. I worked, I traveled, I invested myself to work. I was successful. Companies would give me benefits, everything, not the same as men, but I can say I could progress nicely. But there were times in my life when I would have to invest myself to IVF treatment. Sometimes it is 3 attempts, and it can be like 2 years. It takes 2 years because it's do this month, and then wait for 3 months, and then do that, and then go lie in your bed for the whole month. So you can't, you're physically not available to commit to work that much in this period of your life. So I had to admit, as much as I'm raised to be equal, I am not equal. And I had luck in these periods of my life. I had companies and bosses who never fired me for that. My job was still there waiting for me when I come back. They gave me freedom to go to take a month or 2 or whatever I need and come back. But you can't ask for a raise in this period. It wouldn't be fair because you don't invest yourself at work like others. Yeah. So it is different. And when you're single, when you're dating, then sometimes men just want to know about what they need from you as a woman. And they don't care. If you're successful, that's fine, but I still need my lunch. And then they consider you as a sexual object. Then also they don't care if I had some time to paint my hair. It's great today,
Oh my gosh. Yes.
So there are many, many, many different topics around womanhood that we all experience, whether we are mothers or not. I believe that mothers have even more to say on this topic, because then the lessons they have to do on this woman side is even more.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So much here. We have unpacked a whole bunch. So I'm going to go back to keep us on the rails because this could go in so many different directions. I'm going to go back to Erin. Erin, do you have any questions or comments for any of the other panelists?
Not a thing, Melissa. I got nothing. I wasn't. I mean, just I was trying to make sense of all my notes, so I'm sure that as I start here, something cohesive will come together. But one thing that really stuck out to me from Yasna's conversation, Melissa, what you commented on as well, women do have a special role. Like we have a special energy. We do bring something really special to the table. And over time, as we were called to step up into other roles, to piggyback on what you said, Melissa, the men were forgotten. So they were not taught to tap into any of their feminine magic at all, to be able to do any of the things that we do. They weren't taught how to not being needed. Like, men need to be needed.
Yes.
And all of a sudden we became very, very independent. They're like, well, what is my role anymore? What do I do? And so they did kind of get left behind. And also in that, because we do love our men, we do love them. And there are some times that women can be more judgmental of one another in these expectations than even the men. Like, there are some parents that are like, what do you mean you're not getting married? I mean, we're not that far. I finished watching Bridgerton.
Me too. Yesterday.
And there was a whole dowry conversation. And I was like, that wasn't that long ago.
I know.
It still exists, actually. There is still, in African culture, you still have it.
Really?
In Arabic culture, you still have it. So it's not like it's not long ago. It's still existing now. You know, so where the family, the husband has to give, and then they negotiate. So it's still existing. So sometimes, I mean, in the US or in Europe, we think that certain things don't exist, but the reality, it's not like this. It's like when there is war. I mean, I understand with Ukraine, but I'm like originally also from Congo. We've been in war all the time within the country. They don't even talk about it anymore. Some women are still used as slaves. Some women are still sold as slave, sexual, but also boys, young men. And we very often look what is in front of us and not behind. And we have to stop that. And to make a change, we have to start within our first circle. And that's how we move forward. I'm very sorry to interrupt your panel over there, but this still exists. So, and we have to be aware of it.
Yeah. Thank you for doing that. That was very, and we'll get back to you in a minute, Erin. Thank you for doing that, because also Middle Eastern cultures, many Middle Eastern cultures, not to mention, you brought up something really important here too, the impact, and we're seeing it again for the bazillionth time, because as humans, we don't learn from our past mistakes. The impact that war has on women and children is devastating. The sexual slaves, the rapes, the kidnapping, the poverty. You look at these countries that are continually in war all the time for years. It's so normalized. Like Pamela said, we don't even talk about it anymore. So there's a whole other level of impact. And I said this, you know, when we're in the middle of bombing Iran right now, and Iran has a lot of problems. And I'm actually going to have a woman that's part of movements in Iran on my podcast in a couple of months that I got to meet last month. And she's going to give some great clarity to this. But, you know, we're so precise with our bombs, yet we bombed a girls' school where 125 girls died the first day. These girls were the next generation. I mean, so thank you, Pamela, for bringing that up. All that to say, there's such a whole other level of what happens here. All right, Erin, back to you.
No, thank you, Pamela, for bringing that up, because it is the example too that while this is a global issue, there's so many things. We all live in our bubbles, and we don't always know what's happening out in the world. Even though there is the internet and all of the things that connect us, we think everybody is having the same experience that we are, and we're not. Having the same experience. I think my last, and my topic pivot here, because Rachel always says things that I'm like, Rachel. And just the whole concept of being told to calm down, and that expectation that we're supposed to maintain an even keel. As a caregiver and somebody who is a recovering codependent and people pleaser, that really hit home for me. And I just, I'm in week 2 of a series I started for my audience about anger. And for week 2, I dove in and listed the top 10 things that make me angry. And so number 1, to be able to feel anger and be like, no, and then identify it. Like, No, that's just annoying. That's like a gnat. And nope, that's like rage and that's resentment. It's like to really find the feeling in me, which is something we also haven't been taught as part of that calm down and just keep an even keel. We don't even know how to like feel the feelings.
Yeah. Well, and this gets in my podcast is called the Feel Podcast. One of my talking points is the connection between our mental, emotional, physical health, naming our emotions, making space for our emotions to feel them. Because for me, it was stuffing all the emotions I'd been told were inappropriate for me to feel or navigate, or had shame around. Anger being there's a very, very terrible stereotype about women and anger that exists in the world that forces women into feeling shame around it and stuffing it. Well, you're not meant to carry that stuff. It's going to bubble over at some point. And so the importance of naming your emotions and not identifying them as good or bad, they're clues. And it's okay. And it's good to feel them. They're there for us to tell us what's happening within us, to let us know what needs to be dealt with, to let us know what to get curious about rather than judgmental about. Such an important piece of it. And anger can be a great motivator when you know what to do with it in terms of change, in terms of movement, in terms of advocacy, in terms of choosing a healthier, more authentic life for yourself. I mean, so there's so many good things about that. So I'm so glad you brought up the emotions piece, Erin, because we've been told, I mean, I used to hear when I was a little girl, if I started crying, dry it up. My parents did not have the capacity for my emotions. So their own emotions, they certainly didn't have the capacity for mine. So I stuffed it for years. And in therapy a few years ago, this came up, and there's ended up being some things that happened when I was in early elementary school that I'd never mourned, that I'd never felt, because I was there to make sure to comfort the adults and give them hugs and make sure they were okay. But there was no room for my emotion or my tears or my fears in it. I cried for like 2 straight weeks. My nervous system finally felt safe enough that I could just release it all. And my husband knew. I'm like, listen, I think the floodgates are going to open here, because all of this stuff I've been carrying is starting to feel, and some of it I can tap into where it comes from. And some of it has just been stuffed so long, it just needs to be released. And it would just be little things that I a lot of times when I was working out, it would come up when I was like settling my body or doing yoga or just when I was getting really present with myself. All of a sudden I would just, the floodgates would open. And my husband would hug me. I'm very fortunate. I have a husband who was raised by a mother who did not believe in gender roles. Everybody in the family, boys and girls, learned to do the same things. She told my father-in-law, and they dated since they were 12 years old. So my father-in-law knew what he was getting into. He was an only child. He had no siblings, so he didn't know. But she's like, I am not your maid. I will not be waiting on you. There's the iron. Learn how to use it. There's the laundry. Learn how to do it. And once the kids were just like, I'm not here to clean your house. The kids and I are playing and learning today. When you come home, if you want something cleaned, you can help me do it. And we'll have a designated day every few months. It'll be cleaning day. So he grew up in that environment, which for our era was still very, not, and so many, it was so interesting. So many men were so intimidated by my mother-in-law. They did not know what to do with her because she was this strong Irish woman, no nonsense, no BS, no gender roles. And so he ended up being the perfect girl dad. We have 3 daughters and even within all of that, Erin said something I want to comment on, and then we're going to get to Pamela and let her ask questions and comment. He still has that thing within him of that pressure to provide, to be like, he's like, do whatever you want to do. He has supported me in all of my ventures, all of my things that I've done, all of my career moves, all of my choices. And even within that still feels this intense pressure to take care of us. I'm like, no, we take care of each other. Because Erin talked about earlier, I think the thing that men, I think so many men would have benefited from hearing and being taught is you're there to be a partner, to walk side by side. You take care of yourself and show up as your authentic self. She doesn't need you to take care of her. She needs you to show up and support and be a partner with her. And so I think there's so many things within that. So even as much as we are very, very partnered, and there are no real gender roles, he could do a little better with the laundry, but I could do a little better with other things, taking out the garbage. So whatever. All that to say, I was very fortunate, but even with all that he was taught, there was still that, because of the societal pressure that we've put on men and women in these roles, he still feels this weight, even to this day, as we, get ready to go into retirement in probably 7 more years. I'm like, this is not all on you. This is all of us. This is a collective us. So anyway, okay. Pamela, any more comments? I'm so glad you brought that up. That was such an important statement to make, because like Erin said, we live in these bubbles. And one of the things I tell women all the time, and on my podcast and on these panels, I really focus on having women from all over the world, different spaces, cultures, ethnicities, because our experiences are all unique. There's so much we don't know. So don't assume your lived experience is someone else's lived experience. Get curious, ask questions. Don't assume you already, and white women are very guilty of this, of thinking we already know the answers. We do not. We are one part of the population. We have so much to learn. There's so much going out in the world that we know nothing about, that we could benefit, rather than thinking we know how to show up and support women in these other spaces. Let's ask them, what feels supportive to you? What feels cold? What feels like I'm being an ally for you? So I wanted to say that, because I think that's so important. Pamela, any more comments or questions for any of our other panelists?
Well, it's more of a comment, because I believe in women empowerment, but I also believe in general empowerment, because we need the man. We are women. I am not a feminist, not at all. I believe in empowering each other, lifting each other up. I have a 13-year-old son, and when I see the 13-year-old girls reacting, I am terrified for him. And I say, we are turning these little girls in little monsters sometimes, because we want them to be so independent that men will not have their place. We are cutting their balls. Excuse my French in the way of saying. We need to, sometimes we're saying we have to do all of the things, but sometimes we also have to sit still and say, why are we doing all the things? Because we want independence, but we cannot mix up the independence, be doing everything. We will never lift up 120 kilo. Okay, you have some women, they will lift that weight. But let a man be a man, and let us women also tap in our feminine side. Because otherwise we're losing the beauty of woman and man. And of course, people get lost because they don't find their place. And very often I hear, I can do that. Of course you can do that. But do you have to do that? That's the real question. And by being so strong, we forget, like a few of you said before, where the man can place themselves. And that's why we all go back with education. We women, we want our independence, 100% agree, but we also have to know when to sit back and allow a man to be a man. Because we are not going to ask a man to carry the children. That's just mother nature. And when you say to a man in a house, please find the keys, he will not find it very fast. Because we women, no, it's true. Find me this thing. The man is lost. Like, what is she asking? But when you ask a man, and it's all genetically imprinted in us. We women used to take care of the garden. We used to take care of the house. This is in our DNA. That's not something we can change. Men used to go hunt. That's why men can see from far. Men can do the more technical. Of course, we women can learn and know how to do it. But come on, we have to also allow our men. I have a son, and I will not. My son see I have 5 jobs. I'm a single mother. I live between 2 countries. I work my ass off. So it's not like I'm sitting and a man will provide for me. I can do that. Yes, I have a pretty face, a nice ass. So I had a few men offering me this. Will I do that? No, because I have my part and I want to show my son that women also are capable. But I will allow my man also to provide for me. But for that, I need to let my arms down. And after 17 years of marriage, and some women or men who are listening to your podcast or to the live now, we tend to overarm ourselves, meaning we are in a defensive system. And that's wrong as well, because we lose the beauty of being a woman and our feminine side. Of course, we can do that. Who do we have to prove ourselves? No, we know. Come on, ladies.
Yeah.
That's what I want to add here.
Yeah, that was, I think I want to pick up on that, because I think sometimes we get lost in the equal and equitable piece. Equal is not the same. And Jasna talked about this earlier, the way Jasna grew up, where everybody had their things they did, but it was equal. Like everyone was putting in the work in the way that they were, asked to put in the work, designed to put in the work. And so everybody felt like everybody was covering each other's spaces. And I think it's that, let's celebrate the uniqueness in each of us, because we bring different, there would be no point of there being a man and a woman if we weren't unique. There would just be one gender, so being a man and a woman brings its uniqueness. I think where sometimes
balance.
Balance. Exactly. And what I think where we're missing is that we tie girls and boys when they're little so tightly into other expectations outside of that we don't talk about, we all bring something special. We're all special. We're all important. We all have a place. We all have a purpose, and teaching that is equitable and that is worthy, and that no one is better or more valuable than the other. I think that is a big part of it too. So finding that balance of like, everybody, no one is less important, but we've gotten off kilter in terms of putting more value into one or the other. And it's like, there's a value imbalance, and it's all necessary. We all bring these things, these strengths, these uniquenesses, and they're all necessary and they're all important. Not one is not more important or less important than the other one.
And the thing you said before, Melissa, example, when I took the first time a plane, I was 70 years old. I was sent away from my mother and my siblings, everything I knew, back to Belgium from Africa. And I was crying. And my father said, crying is for weak people. You don't gain respect with that. So for a very long time, I thought expressing your feelings was being weak. And one thing I was really standing by, like to explain to my son, like, when you cry, it's a part of strength. When you express your feeling, and very often we are compared, that it's your siblings, your family members, anyone, your cousins. We are compared. Stop comparing your worth towards someone else. You are worthy yourself. You don't need the approval. I wish someone had drilled this in my head. And I really stand for that. You don't need validation from anyone else. As long as you see yourself as your worth. Even your parents can tell you you're bad. You learn to love yourself. That's what I learned. And that's why it's so important that we teach that to women, to men, to kids, whoever you encounter, like, you don't need validation. You are valid.
Yeah. You are valid because you exist. And that's why it goes back to, I talk about this all the time. If we would all go back and do our own work and know our own value and accept our own value and know that it's non-negotiable. It's not based on our roles or our titles or someone else appreciating us. It's based on that we were created, that we be, and that we're in the world and we have something to offer. If we all believed that about ourselves, our relationships would change. The way we connected with each other would change. The way we lead would change. Everything would be shifted. So it really, I mean, it sounds simplistic, but it really does go back to each one of us doing our own work of knowing our own value. I mean, it's such an important piece of that. Okay. Thank you so much, Pamela. Rachel, any questions for anybody or comments?
Just my comment is that having 3 beautiful women on here that are not in America, and to hear, their experience is, I mean, that's why I think travel is so important, to understand different cultures. And what you said, Pamela, it just reminds me that we here have overcorrected a little bit, where you do kind of have to feel like I can do anything. I can play both roles, mom and dad. And like you said, it's not a matter of being capable or not capable, but what is more beautiful than having a partner who supports you and who helps take on this life with you? Like Melissa, I know your husband, you praise him all the time for the way he supports you. And so, and I am not married, but I've been with my partner for 12 going on 13 years. And just realizing in the last few years, like, to ask him for help. It's like, dude cannot read my mind. And it's like, if I'm feeling overwhelmed and I have to work all day and I don't want to cook dinner, it's like, make me dinner tonight. You know what I mean? And the fact that I've started asking for help has changed the like the stress, the anxiety that I was feeling, because here's this other person who can help me. It's so lovely. So I just want to say thank you, Pamela, for just giving us that reminder that being capable doesn't mean having to do it all. So that's my comment. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And that asking for help piece, and that that willingness to communicate that, because we will march around so many times mad and irritated and a martyr and I'm carrying it all. No one's a mind reader. I mean, you stomping around the house because you're wore out is not, they're going to be like, oh, mom just didn't get enough sleep last night, or partner didn't get enough sleep last night, or sister or coworker or whatever. They're not mind readers. So and when we're talking about choice and communication, it is our responsibility. We do have accountability in this. We have accountability to be curious about other people's stories. We have accountability in asking for what we need, communicating our expectations, communicating our healthy boundaries in a way that, oh, okay, that's where she needs my support. That's where I can help out. That's where I can take this, so yeah, I think the overcorrected is a really good way of putting it, Rachel. It's like, and Pamela said it, it's not about capability. It's about, we're doing it all like a badge of honor, and no one wins when we're tired and wore out and doing it all. And so that willingness to say no, to ask for help, or say it's okay. It is not a failure. And I don't even like the word failure, because I have a mentee that I'm working with right now. She's a college student here locally, and she was struggling with something. And I'm like, this is an opportunity to learn. So you can look at it as a failure, or you can look at it as an opportunity to learn, see where you need help, see where you can course correct. But yeah, that communication piece. Remember, when we're feeling wore out and tired, or we're feeling like someone's violated an expectation or boundary of ours, it's our responsibility to communicate that. And then we communicate in I statements, and we make it about our behavior, not their behavior. And then we make a choice upon that. They can, what to do with that. But that communication piece, so crucial. It's okay to ask for help. Erin's learned this a lot. She talks to her caregivers about this a lot. Jess, any questions or thoughts for any of our panelists?
I have a lot.
Okay. Go. And Jess is sitting and saving it up. She's like, I've been sitting here. I've been being quiet. I'm saving it up.
I have been itching to jump in here. Okay, so I want to say that I completely agree with what everybody is saying. And like, okay, so in my dating phases here, I definitely work to empower the men that I am like either chatting with or dating or whatever. But it took a long time to be able to actually get to that point. And it's because like we have to look at the whole picture here. I believe in the polarity between masculine and feminine. I am so attracted to a man in his healthy masculine energy. There is nothing better. Like I want somebody who will step up and like protect me and provide for me. I know that I can do those things for myself, but to get to that point where that was the man that I wanted, it meant that I had to really build up my own trust in myself. Because if I am going to allow somebody else, not even just a man, but allow anybody to do something for me, that means that I have to trust myself to, one, be vulnerable, and two, if this person is then no longer in my life, I need to be able to take that back on. And so I just want to say that it's not quite as simple as just hand it all over. There's a lot of like internal work that we have to do to trust ourselves to be able to do that, to be able to feel safe enough to be able to do that. But like 100%, I think that polarity between men and women is so important. And I think once we can all like collectively heal that, that is going to bring so much beauty to our relationships. So that was one.
Okay. Well, and I just want to say, just honor, if getting back to a space where we honor each other and what we bring to the table, that we honor each other and respect each other. I think it's that's where things have gotten out of balance over the years. And there's power structures in place that want to keep it out of balance. And that's where us choosing and trusting, doing our own work. So we try, okay, this person wants to partner with me. This partner wants to share a life with me. This partner sees me for who I am and values me and honors that. And that you give that to each other.
Oh, exactly. And like, so when I'm dating somebody, I will tell them, like, I will literally be like your biggest cheerleader. Like, I will help you reach your goals. I want to see you accomplish everything that you want to accomplish, but I want you to do the same for me. Like, I am running my own business. And so like, I want the support to go both ways. And some people have a hard time with that, but the other things I wanted to say, Melissa and Erin, you were both talking about like the crying, right? And how I just wanted to say that we were taught how to abandon our own needs because it was always a case of like, you are feeling this, but you need to set that aside because other people need something. And so we were constantly told to just abandon our own feelings, our own needs to be able to care for other people. And again, that takes like so much work of, I think it just comes back to self-trust again, like, and feeling that safety in yourself. So the meditations that I do are to help you reset your nervous system so that you can feel safe within yourself. And I really feel that is like the core of all of these changes that we can make. I wanted to mention competition between women. Like, I think it might have been Erin. It's crazy. Like, yes, sometimes like men are judgmental of women, but I feel like it more so comes from within our own communities. It comes from within the circle of women. That judgment of what other women who don't have children or chose to not get married or whatever it is. So yeah, I think we have to really focus on supporting each other instead of tearing each other down. Yeah, I have like 3 more points listed here.
Well, go ahead. Give him a quick. That's fine, because
I know. I was just like scribbling notes. I forgot who was talking about this before, but in my teens, I started being told about marriage, like, and to the point where it was like, oh, like this guy would be perfect for your husband. Like, this is who you're gonna marry. You're gonna marry this guy. And it's just, like, I was 15 years old. I'm like, I just want to get through high school. You know, like, I'm not thinking about this right now. And you can guarantee that the guy's not thinking about that.
No,
right?
No. No one's frontal lobe is fully developed yet.
No.
Can we let everybody's frontal lobe fully develop?
Exactly. But like, that pressure was always there of like, this is the path that you follow. You are going to finish your education, because yes, that is important, but you're going to finish your education and then you're not really going to do much with it. You're going to get married and you're going to have kids. And that's the path that you have to take. And when we choose to step off of that path, there's some pushback sometimes.
Yeah, there really is. I mean, and it goes back to those letting us be who we are, letting us find our own way, knowing that our value is not tied to these roles. If we choose them, flourish in them, great. If we don't, but we were given a script. Go to college, get the degree, find the partner, buy the house, get the car, have the kids, live the life. And then all of a sudden you're like, I never asked if this was anything that was actually, no one ever asked me what I was actually.
And that's what I wanted.
Yeah. And there's even within that, the jobs that you choose. Like my family was like, well, you need to be my dad was like, you need to be a teacher because it'll be good for your family. I'm like, I will not be a teacher. No one wins if I'm a teacher. That is a lose-lose. It's not going to be a good role for me. And, so I think it's just stepping back, because at some point we have to unpack, oh, I did all these things, but yet I'm still feeling a little out of alignment, a little angsty. This isn't adding up for me. And so staying curious about that. And I think too, when people ask you to do things, that Pamela talked about, the boundaries and the power of saying no, and giving yourself 24 hours. And also, is this asking me to abandon myself? Because if it's asking me to abandon myself, then the answer needs to be no. And that might be hard. That might be a difficult conversation. That might not be easy. But if I'm going to stay in alignment with who I am and who I was designed to be, that going back to, if you're feeling uncomfortable with it, that I think that's something so important to go back to. All right.
And then the final thing I wanted to add. So I think it was Erin. You were talking about, I think it was work related. So what I wrote down was, at my last corporate job, I felt like so whenever a problem would come up on like a team meeting, if I knew the answer, I would just immediately jump in there and offer a solution, maybe even offer to like take it on and fix it, whatever it was. And I realized that it was coming from a place of feeling like I had to prove my value and my worth to that company. And so once I had that realization, I forced myself, even though everything inside was like, fix the problem. You know how to do this, fix the problem. I had to step back and be like, I will fix the problem if they come to me and ask me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to volunteer it.
Yeah. Again, going back to that, thinking we have to do it all the time. And a friend said this to me probably about 20 years ago now, but it was really smart. She's like, you are robbing someone else of the opportunity to doing that thing that maybe they were built for. that maybe they were gifted for, when you just take on everything yourself and think that you're the one that always has to do everything. Let that other person have their space to thrive and show up in. It doesn't always have to be you, and it's actually not beneficial if it's always you, because you're robbing someone else of the opportunity to step into who they are and show up in that way. So I think there's so much to that.
Yeah, but it was like so tied to like feeling like I had to prove that I was valuable and worthy of being there.
Yeah. And like, it all goes back. It goes back to us each doing our own work, like we were talking about earlier. So we know our own value. So we're not doing that. So we know that it's not someone else's job to affirm me. It's my job to affirm me and know my value. And I'm not going to, and I think too, in relationships, it's so unfair to the relationship when we put that pressure on a partner to be our validator, or we're asked to be someone else's It is not my husband's job to validate me or affirm me. It is my job. It is his, it's our jobs together to be partners and to show up and support each other and show up in the ways that we have agreed on, work in our relationship. But it's not his job to make me happy. And we put a lot of pressure on relationships in both in work and personal lives when we ask that relationship to no, I'm responsible for knowing my value, and my value does not ebb and flow whether someone else thinks that I'm valuable or not, or it shouldn't. But many times we treat it in that way. Yeah, absolutely. All right, Jasna, how about you? You've had a lot of time to take all of this in.
And now I had too many impressions. I will forget them. Pamela and Rachel mentioned this balance, letting men be men, and I agree with that. But we should just be as we are. Yeah. We are what we are, and it's complex. I am what I am because of my childhood, family, everything. Mm-hmm. And I cannot change myself. Neither can the man, whoever he is, from his childhood, his models, his whatever. We can redefine some things, but only to some extent.
Yes.
If you do not let your man or partner give birth to your child,
that's never going to happen.
That wouldn't be bad, actually, if they could do that, because it's very painful.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. If only that were an option.
And the after then. That's actually a good idea. I sign up for that. Then I have another baby if it's the case. I said no after 40, but I'm in for it now.
You never know. Technology is a miracle.
I know. You're in IT, Jasna. Are we? Jasna's
yes. So maybe she knows things we don't know, Melissa. Maybe she knows things.
Maybe AI will wipe me out, so I will be something else like that. we will lose jobs first, I already have mine for now. I'm learning AI. Let's see.
Yes.
Okay. So in that topic, yes, we are not equal. We always say let's chase equality. Let's talk about equality. Let's be equal. And I agree to some extent. You should not feel limited. You should not feel enslaved. You should not feel like some chances are not yours. All chances should be yours. You should find some partner that corresponds to your natural role in society.
Mm-hmm.
You know how much of it you want personally for yourself, being a partner, a mother, a career woman, taking care of the house, whatever you want to do, your hobbies. You should find a partner who is okay with all that and who will support you in that. Because if you don't see these roles in a compatible way, not equal, but compatible, maybe he will not be able to support you in career, because just in his map of the world, his woman cannot go to work. Not even go there, let alone be successful or an IT career woman or something like that. So my standing regarding that now is live your life and think whatever you think and be right for yourself. And I'm right for myself. If obviously I'm not your girl, obviously you're not my man, and that's fine. Not everybody must be my husband.
Yes.
And that's it.
Yes.
Yes, I only need one. Luckily, I only need one. I still haven't found it. The idea that I only need one is consoling, right? Is that the word in English?
That's a consolation. There we go. Okay.
Consolation, yes.
Oh my gosh.
We should never go too much to that direction of equality, because we are who we are. There are some things that are because of the biology, and you can't run away from it very much. And we should never reach that limit in our conversation. We should always be aware of the reality, because if we are not, in my case, I was not until my 27 years old. I thought I'm a man. We are equal. That's all fine. I'm ambitious. I will go to my work and everything will happen naturally. I will be pregnant. You just, if you want to make babies, then find some job that is not 5 days a week on the trip.
Yeah. And the
Still
travel.
be ambitious. Keep your job. Do something that will keep your CV to the level that you want it in 5 years from now. But from now and 5 years from now, you have to be aware that priority is somewhere else. And the priority was somewhere else. Only it helped to strike me so that I become aware of that. We should tell that to young women so they are prepared to that phase in their lives, so that they can balance it earlier before they already
they plan for it earlier.
Yes, they know if they want to be moms. And I wanted also to say, Melissa said that when she was very young, she already knew I should get married, I should have kids. I did not know when I was really young, when I was a child. I was always saying that I will be some crazy scientist. I will be PhD. I'm not PhD, but I thought I will be. I will be very educated. I will speak languages, and I don't want to have a husband and a kid. And my grandma would always say, "But no, don't say that. Why do you say that? Maybe you will want that." I said, "No, I don't want that. I know I don't want that." I was very specific. And I found my diary when I was 12 years old. I forgot about that, because when I was 25, I was already in love. I had one boyfriend for 10 years already, and now I'm 25. It would be the logical next step to get married and to have kids. I adored kids. I still adore them. That's something I have. Maybe instincts worked when I was older. Yeah. But I found my notebook when I was 12. And in that notebook, it says like this: what is important to have in life? First thing, the strength of will. My will should be strong. And then second thing, I should have the house and the car and the education and many, many items. And then number 12, a husband, question mark. Number 13, a kid, question mark. And then there are a few items after that I don't remember. But I was really surprised because I forgot that this was my list. I totally forgot. And when I was I read that when I was 43, something like that. Yeah. And I did accomplish everything that was on
Oh my gosh.
That's but amazing. Later I really did want a kid, and I was fighting to get it, and I lost my marriage not because I wanted so, of course, but because things happened in that way. But it is interesting how we change these roles and these wishes, what we should be, and that also changed after my 25 years old. Yeah. When I lost I can't say lost my husband. It sounds as if he's dead. When I divorced, that also changed. I still wanted a husband, not him, but some new husband. And that's when I was dating. And I don't do dating anymore. I withdraw myself from that because chatting with so many people before you really know them and before you become close to them, for me, it meant exposing myself so much to some very random people, random energies. And it did not, my conclusion was that I'm not closer to get married because of all these people, you know. I was chatting a lot. I was losing a lot of time. Meeting random people that are not all from my world, from my...
They weren't a good match.
No. Very often, no. But when somebody expects from you something very different from what matches your expectations in your world, then in me that also provoked some emotions, you know. And these emotions are very often not positive. So I decided for myself that it is better that I don't do it. I'm not on online anymore. I don't do that. I meet people spontaneously from time to time, but then it happens within my circle that is the normal social circle of mine. And maybe I am friends with somebody a few times before I decide to go out with him or something like that. And the context of our conversation is not immediately we are here to see if we will be a romantic match, which also helps.
It's more authentic.
It lets me keep my natural distance to see first if I think that I will have something to talk to with this person or not. Okay, maybe I'm a good candidate to be single forever. I'm not saying I'm not. But I have more peace this way and much more time to do other things. So this all changes, you know, how we perceive relationships and ourselves in them. Maybe my peace with whoever I am and whoever is happy or not happy expects or doesn't expect something else from me. I don't care really. I don't give a damn. But right now, I don't need a man to that extent that I did right after my divorce. Right after my divorce, I really felt that being single is not comfortable to me. Now it is much more comfortable. I need it then. And then when I realized that they expect something from me that I'm not, I would reconsider, should I be something else? Should I do something? Should I reconsider my attitude towards something, whatever it is, looks or whatever? And now I'm just, I am who I am. Whoever doesn't like me, it's his problem, not mine.
Yes. I think you said something so important there I want to talk about. Sometimes we feel like as women, we have to morph into something, or we're very hard on ourselves for not being a certain way. No, you are worthy of having someone, whether it's a friend, whether it's a romantic partner, that values you for you, that celebrates you, that isn't trying to change you or ask you to be someone that you're not. And I think you brought up something so important, you know, the whole dating piece. This needs to feel like something that's safe and honoring to you. And I could not, you know, it's so interesting navigating this because the technology, I know we need to wrap up here soon, but there's so many different angles this conversation could go. You know, I'm 56, you know, we had to call each other on the phone or see each other at school or at work or on a date. There wasn't all of this texting and online dating. And I can't imagine navigating that way. But, you know, my middle daughter is engaged and she met her partner through a dating app. And she was pretty lucky. She hadn't been on it very long. They made a pretty immediate connection. So she didn't have to navigate it nearly as long. And they've been together for 5.5 years and they're getting married next late fall. But when she went great, my husband was so funny when she got on the app. He's like, is that safe for her? And I'm like, well, I think she's got pretty good parameters in place, like of where she will meet the people for the first time. Her roommates are kind of in the area. Like there's this whole like, you know, system that you create. And I'm like, oh, thank God. You know, Brady and I just met each other in a kitchen of somebody's apartment at a college party. It was just like, and we had a conversation and went from there. So yeah, it's a whole other world navigating that, but always, you know, going back to, as we wrap this up, you are valuable, you are worthy, you get to choose. And so not ever forgetting that, remembering that, honoring that, and surrounding yourself with people that honor that as well, and you honor that in them. And it is, as we navigate these expectations of womanhood, that we're looking for people to honor each other. Be curious about each other. Don't assume you know everyone else's story. Ask, learn, and invite and ask people how you can support them. Don't assume you already know. Don't be afraid to ask for help. It's not weakness. Honor your emotions, feel your emotions, process them so that you're not carrying the load of them and not taking that load out on somebody else in your life. And I think, crying is not a weakness. It allows us, for men and women, allow yourself to cry. Allow yourself to release that. Allow other people to see you being authentic, and just honor each other. I think it just goes back to, and when we each do the work and know our value, then we will show up honoring each other because we're not threatened by what someone else thinks or says about us. We're not afraid of that. We're not performing for anyone. So yeah, thank you so much, all of you. This went a little long today, but I knew we had that possibility because there's so much to cover in this topic. I appreciate you all being with me. We have a few comments in our comment section that a woman spoke about. I'm assuming she's a woman. I want to change my childhood because I felt responsible for everything since I was 4. It's still following me. Responsible 24/7. Other way, you are not good enough. And so to her, I'm like, you are good enough. You are valuable. You are worthy. And I hope that this panel has helped you feel supported. That same woman said, Pamela, what you said made me cry in like a good way. Like it really, that panelist, this person listening really connected with your message. So it is good to know that women are hearing what we're saying. Another woman, Sophie, said, we got to be choosy. Yes, we do get to choose. We got to be choosy. We've got to be selective. We get to honor ourselves in that way. So thank you to those who commented and listened in with us today. I'm going to go around one more time. Each of you share with our listeners where they can find you or follow you. Erin, let's start with you.
Such an amazing conversation today. Thank you, everybody. You all can connect to me. Best ways on my website, erincopeland.com. That's Erin with an E, Copeland, no D.
Okay. All right. Pamela, where can people find you?
Instagram. Just type Pamela Michaud or Mundele Diaries.
Okay. All right. Great. And Rachel, how about you, my friend? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry. I usually don't do that. Okay, let's start that over. RachelLavin.com or Organized by Rachel on Instagram and Facebook. I've just followed all of you ladies on Instagram, so there you go.
All right, thank you. Jess, how about you?
Yes, so my website is jessicavanrose.com. My meditations that I have on there, they're all around resetting your nervous system, which will help with everything we've talked about. I do have a code, so it's panel 20 for 20% off. And you'll have that in the show notes, I'm assuming, Melissa.
Yep, absolutely. All right, Jasna, how about you?
I have a website, jasnakalujerovic.com, and also Instagram profile.
All right. Thank you so much, all of you. That will be in our show notes. So go back and refer to that so you can follow these ladies. Jasna also said something I think I want to end with today is we change and grow through seasons. So just because you want something in your 20s doesn't mean that's going to be who you are in your 30s. As you learn and grow and evolve, allow yourself to learn and grow and unlearn. Sometimes, for me, when I look back at who I was 15 years ago, I've learned a lot since then. There's a lot of things that I believe differently on now than I did then. So give yourself the space and grace to continue to evolve and learn and grow and to continue to become who you are. When you allow that for yourself, you're more willing to allow that for others as well. And you're more willing to invite them on that journey with you. Show up for yourself unapologetically. Show up for others, women unapologetically. We don't make this a safe, healthy world when we're fighting against each other. Let's show up for each other. Let's support each other. Let's honor each other. Take good care of yourselves. Thanks so much for listening today. And we'll see you next week. It's a Come As You Are panel next Monday. We'll be back on our Monday schedule, and we'll see you then. Take good care and have a great rest of your week.
Bye.
Bye.